Hello Reddit, forgive me as I am new to the online community. Just wanted to tell my story and maybe get some input. I 35F recently discovered something about my husband 36M that has turned my world upside down. It all started when I noticed he had become distant, often retreating into his office for long hours under the guise of working late. I didn't think much of it at first. I trusted him completely, but then, a small, seemingly innocuous mistake led me down a path I never expected. It was last month when he sent me a picture of a purchase order for a new set of office furniture. At the bottom of the screenshot, barely noticeable, was a delivery address different from our own. My curiosity piqued. I decided to dig a little deeper. I went through his emails, something I had never felt the need to do before, and discovered a trove of correspondence between him and another woman. They weren't just emails about work or friendly banter. These were intimate, emotional, and clearly pointed to something much more than friendship. I found out that this woman, 32F, wasn't just a coworker but someone he had been seeing for over a year. They met during a business trip to New York, and since then, their relationship had blossomed into something I can only describe as an emotional affair. They exchanged heartfelt letters, expensive gifts, and even planned secret getaways. The most recent trip, which he told me was a crucial conference in Seattle, was actually a romantic rendezvous in a secluded cabin in the mountains. Devastated but determined to gather more evidence, I decided to dig deeper. Over the next few weeks, I meticulously collected every piece of proof I could find: emails, text messages, credit card statements, hotel reservations, and even photos they had taken together. I created a comprehensive dossier that left no room for doubt. My plan: this morning, my husband left for yet another business trip. Before he left, I slipped a detailed letter into the lining of his suitcase. The letter was a complete account of everything I had discovered, along with my intentions. I made it clear that I knew about his affair and that I was no longer willing to be a part of his deceitful life. I informed him that I would be filing for divorce and that I had already contacted a lawyer. I also included a special section addressed to his mistress, letting her know exactly what I thought of her and her actions. But that wasn't all. I had one final move planned. As soon as he landed and checked into his hotel, I sent a group text to him and his mistress. The message read, "I hope you both enjoy your trip. Inside your suitcase, you'll find a letter explaining everything. I want a divorce. You can have him." The hours that followed were some of the longest of my life. My phone buzzed incessantly with calls and messages from my husband, but I ignored them all. I felt a strange sense of calm amidst the chaos, knowing that I had taken control of a situation that had once made me feel so powerless. A week has passed since then. My husband returned home to an empty house, as I had already moved out and taken our children to stay with my parents. He begged for forgiveness, swore it was a mistake, and promised to end things with her, but it was too late. The trust was shattered, and I couldn't see a future with someone who had betrayed me so deeply. I've since filed for divorce and am working on rebuilding my life. It's been incredibly hard, but I have an amazing support system. My friends and family have rallied around me, giving me the strength to move forward. Looking back, I realized that the signs were there all along. I was just too trusting, too in love to see them. But now, I'm learning to trust myself again. To all the men and women out there who might be going through something similar, I urge you to trust your instincts and never settle for less than you deserve. Stay strong, Reddit, and thank you for listening. Update 1. Hello Reddit. It's been a month since my initial post, and I wanted to give you all an update on how things have progressed. The outpouring of support and advice I received from this community has been overwhelming, and I'm incredibly grateful. Here's what has happened since I confronted my husband and decided to take control of my life. After sending that group text, I received dozens of frantic calls and messages from my husband. He pleaded for me to talk to him, to give him a chance to explain. I ignored his calls initially, needing time to process everything and to stay firm in my decision. When I finally felt ready, I agreed to meet him in a public place, a small cafe we used to frequent during happier times. Meeting him face to face was both heartbreaking and empowering. He looked disheveled and broken, a stark contrast to the confident man I had known. He apologized profusely, admitted to everything, and begged for forgiveness. He claimed the affair was a mistake, a lapse in judgment fueled by the pressures of work and midlife insecurities. He even promised to end things with her immediately and suggested marriage counseling. While his remorse seemed genuine, I couldn't ignore the betrayal. I told him that while I appreciated his honesty, trust is the foundation of any relationship, and he had completely shattered mine. I reiterated my intention to proceed with the divorce and made it clear that no amount of apologies or counseling could undo the damage he had done. As for his mistress, she sent me a long, emotional email after receiving the letter. She apologized, claiming she didn't know he was married at first, and when she found out, she was already too emotionally invested to back out. She expressed regret and offered to speak with me in person, but I declined. Her remorse didn't change the fact that she had been a part of this deception. Divorce proceedings are never easy, especially when children are involved. I hired a reputable lawyer who has been incredibly supportive and thorough. We've gone through the motions of dividing assets, setting up custody arrangements for our children, and ensuring that I am financially protected. My husband, despite his initial resistance, has been cooperative throughout the legal process. He agreed to my terms regarding child custody and support, and we have managed to keep things relatively amicable for the sake of our children. It's a small consolation, but at least it spares our kids from witnessing a bitter fight between their parents. Moving out and starting fresh has been both daunting and liberating. I found a lovely apartment close to my parents, who have been a rock for me during this time. My children are adjusting to the new living arrangements, and while they miss their father, they are resilient and seem to be handling the transition well. I've also returned to work full-time, throwing myself into my career as a way to stay busy and regain my independence. My colleagues have been supportive, and the routine has provided a sense of normalcy amidst the upheaval. One of the best decisions I made was to start seeing a therapist. The emotional toll of the betrayal, coupled with the stress of the divorce, had been overwhelming. Therapy has given me a safe space to process my feelings, work through my anger and grief, and start the healing process. It's a long road, but I'm making progress. In the midst of all this turmoil, I've rediscovered parts of myself that I had lost over the years. I've reconnected with old friends, taken up yoga, and started painting again, something I used to love but had set aside as life got busier. These small joys have been a reminder that there is life beyond the pain and that I am capable of finding happiness on my own terms. The future still feels uncertain, but I am slowly rebuilding my confidence and sense of self-worth. I'm learning to trust my instincts again and to set boundaries that protect my well-being. While the thought of dating again feels daunting, I am open to the possibility when the time feels right. To anyone reading this who might be in a similar situation, please know that you are not alone. It's okay to feel broken, to grieve the life you thought you had, but also know that you have the strength to rebuild and find happiness again. Trust yourself, lean on your support system, and take things one day at a time. Thank you, Reddit, for being a part of my journey. Your support has meant more than words can express. I'll continue to update as things progress, but for now, I'm focusing on healing and embracing this new chapter of my life. Stay strong, everyone. Update 2. Hello, Reddit. I'm back with another update, and this one is truly life-altering. I never imagined how drastically things could change in such a short amount of time. I want to share this with you all because your support has been a lifeline for me, and I hope my story can provide some hope and perspective for others. Just as I was starting to find my footing and rebuild my life, I experienced a health scare that brought everything to a halt. About 3 weeks ago, I began feeling unusually fatigued and developed persistent headaches. Initially, I brushed it off as stress from the divorce and adjusting to my new life. But when I started experiencing dizzy spells and a strange numbness in my left arm, I knew something was seriously wrong. I rushed to the emergency room, where they ran a series of tests. The news was devastating. I had a brain tumor. The doctors assured me it was operable, but it would require immediate surgery. The diagnosis was a shock, and I felt the weight of the world crashing down on me. Just as I was piecing my life back together, it felt like everything was falling apart again. The surgery was scheduled for the following week. My parents, who have been incredibly supportive, took care of my children while I prepared for the operation. My ex-husband, despite everything, stepped up and offered his support. He took time off work to be with the kids and assured me that he would take care of everything during my recovery. The surgery was successful, but the recovery has been challenging. I've had to rely on my family and friends more than ever. The physical healing is slow, and there are days when the pain and fatigue feel overwhelming. But every day, I remind myself that I am alive, and that is a victory in itself. This health scare has given me a new perspective on life. Facing my own mortality has made me reevaluate what truly matters. The petty grievances and anger I held on to seem insignificant now. My focus has shifted to gratitude, grateful for my life, my children, and the support system that has carried me through this ordeal. I've decided to take a leave of absence from work to focus on my recovery and spend more time with my children. This experience has shown me the importance of being present and cherishing every moment with them. They are my greatest source of strength and motivation. In an unexpected turn of events, this health crisis has led to a tentative reconciliation with my ex-husband. Seeing how he stepped up during my surgery and recovery, and how dedicated he has been to our children, made me realize that people can change. While I still carry the pain of his betrayal, I am also open to the possibility of forgiveness. We have started attending therapy sessions together, not necessarily with the goal of rekindling our marriage, but to heal and learn how to co-parent effectively. These sessions have been cathartic, allowing us to communicate honestly and work through our lingering issues. There is a newfound respect and understanding between us, and while I'm not sure what the future holds, I am hopeful. As I continue to recover, I've made a conscious decision to focus on my health and well-being. I've adopted a healthier lifestyle, incorporating balanced nutrition, regular exercise, and mindfulness practices like meditation and journaling. These changes have not only helped my physical recovery but have also been beneficial for my mental health. I've also started volunteering at a local support group for individuals recovering from major surgeries. Sharing my story and listening to others' experiences has been incredibly rewarding and has provided a sense of community and purpose. This journey has been tumultuous, but it has also been transformative. I've learned the importance of resilience, the power of forgiveness, and the value of living authentically. I am no longer defined by my past or my circumstances. Instead, I am embracing each day with hope and determination. To anyone reading this who might be going through a difficult time, remember that life can change in an instant, but you have the strength to face whatever comes your way. Trust in yourself, lean on your loved ones, and never lose sight of the things that truly matter. Thank you again, Reddit, for being a part of my journey. Your support has been a beacon of light during my darkest times. I'll continue to update as I navigate this new chapter of my life. Stay strong and take care of yourselves.